Pesachim Daf Lamed Daled continues our discussion from yesterday, where Abaya taught us that when we have something that is tamei, we're not afraid that you're going to come to use it inappropriately, as long as you place it in a place that you're not going to come to use it. Abaya is going to differentiate that's only a din by bread and not a din by wheat, whereas Rav Yochanan is going to disagree. We're going to continue with a lengthy discussion about truma that was planted while it was tamei. When the new stalk grows, it's going to be tar, but it's going to be usher to someone. First, going to think it's usher to Yisraelim, and we're going to conclude that it's usher afilu to Kahanim. Why? Because of a din of hesech hadas. We're going to have a machlekes, Rav Yochanan and Rish Lakish. What is this din of hesech hadas? Is it an intrinsic puzzle, or is it a psal that we're afraid it's going to become tamei? Finally, we're going to have two questions on Rish Lakish, which we will answer up, and then we will conclude with wrapping this back up to dinner we saw yesterday with squeezing the grapes, how much grapes you're allowed to squeeze, and not worry that the quantity that's going to come out will become tamei. So we begin on Megillah Beis with Kufa, the din of Abaye, that you're allowed to light with oil and with bread of Truma that was tamei, because we're not afraid to come to Tekala. Abaye says it's only by the bread, but by the kernels we are afraid, whereas Rav Yochanan says even by the wheat we're not worried. Why not? So that we explain, because Bishalikta or Meista, because the reason is, what are you going to do with the wheat kernels? You're going to boil them up, and therefore you're going to put them amongst the firewood. So we're not afraid you're going to come to any issues. The Gemara continues that they were sitting. Also, Ravin bar Abayev, and they were Chanina bar Avin, and they were learning a Mishnah of Trumais. What was this Mishnah? The Mishnah was that when you plant a Truma item that was Tamei, that which grows from it is tar. However, you cannot eat it. Who can't eat it, says the Gemara? Because it's tar. Why can't you eat it? So first, Rabbah thinks that Yisraelim cannot eat it. The Gemara says, what's the Chiddush? That which grows retains its status of Truma. We already knew that in. Says Rav Sheshes, who can't eat it? Kehanim cannot eat it. Why can't Kehanim eat it? We said it was tar. Says the Gemara, because of Psul of Hesach Hadas, that when you planted it while it was Tamei, you weren't thinking about it anymore. So Gemara says, what is this psul of hesach hadas? Is it a psul? I go for psul tama. Rav Yochanan says it's psul tama, that we're afraid it's going to become tamei, and Rish Lakish says no, it's an intrinsic psul. So we have the first question that Rav Yochanan asked Rish Lakish, that they had this small hole on top of the ramp going up the mizbeach that they would put over there, the psuli chatas ha'if, and then they would wait for it to lose its surah, lose its image, and then the form, and then they would burn it. Says the Gemara, if it's a psula agof, when you don't think about something, why do you have to wait for it to lose its form? The moment you put it there, you're not thinking about it anymore, and you can burn it right away. As we see, the Gemara quotes the Mishnah that teaches us that all psuli agof, you're allowed to burn right away. Says the Gemara, the reason is because this Mandamar holds that even by pickle, even sometimes when you have intrinsic psulim, you still have to wait for it to lose its image, and that's going to be how Rish Lakish is going to learn this Mishnah. The Gemara is the second question on Rish Lakish, that it says that if it comes pasul, or that you leaves outside the curtains, Rav Lazar says you could throw the blood even though you're not allowed to. Rav Yeshua says you're not allowed to throw the blood. But Rav Yeshua agrees you can't throw the blood. Can't throw the blood because the carbon is tamei. But says Rav Yeshua, if you threw it, it works. The tzitz will work, it'll be mechaber. Explains the Gemara, if it's a psul tama, I understand why the tzitz works. The tzitz works on tamei items. But it's an intrinsic psul, why is the tzitz going to work? Explains the Gemara, no, what it meant by psul has nothing to do with hesach hadas, meant a psul of tzol yom. They said over the story in front of Yermin, really said, these foolish Babylonians, that's not Pshat in the Mishnah. What's Pshat in the Mishnah? Pshat in the Mishnah is by the Me'ach Chag, like the waters of Sukkot that are brought out, and then you touch the waters which are tamei. If it became tamei to the mikvah, it makes it tar. But if it's hektish already, then it's not going to work. Says Gemara, why is it not going to work? So we explain, ein zriya lehektish, achanami ein zriya letruma. A special mailah that they made by hektish, special mailah they made by truma. And therefore it comes out that our sapling, our plant, which is tamei that you planted, truma will be tar. But a special mailah that they made by truma to say that a kain will not be able to eat it. So you're saying, is this a din only when you made it hektish in a kli, or even if you made it hektish balpab with your mouth? The difference is, it gets a kedushas damim when you did it with your mouth, and it gets a kedushas aguf, and intrinsically when it goes into the kli. The Gemara tries to prove this from grapes. The Gemara says grapes are not a proof because grapes don't need the kli. And then the Gemara says within that brisa it showed us that you're squeezing a lot of grapes. Why are you allowed to squeeze a lot of grapes? We saw before they only have to squeeze them less than a kabeya. Because anything more than a kabeya, we should worry that if you're tamei, if the liquid that's coming out is going to be tamei. So one answer is the truth. That's what it was talking about, less than a kabeya. And the second answer is it didn't tum of a taira, that you were a rishon, so the grapes were a sheni, the liquids will go back to being a rishon. Whereas in the other case you were a sheni, the grapes were